Hello, my name is Tony Berard. I'm trying to get my camera to work. I can't seem to get it to last more than a few seconds sometimes. So hopefully this will be my video. I invented the board game Tines and Barbs. I'll just make this a multi-part series until I finally explain the game. Alright, I started inventing my board game in 1987. Is it still recording? It is. I started inventing it in 1987, and the last rule I put in this game was 2005. It took me about 17 years to make my board game Tines and Barbs. It is a full upgrade to the game of chess. So I wrote a book about it along the way, and afterwards too. I think I got the book done in probably 2010. So I worked on this for many, many years. Here's my it already cut off. No, it didn't. So, my phone just wants to switch around. So anyway, The Flaws, Death, and Successor to Chess, Tines and Barbs by Tony Berard. This is on Amazon. Amazon gives all of its authors an e-store. Mine is at https://www.createspace.com/3552422. And the 3 goes right after the /. And the ISBN 13 is 978-14565-62526. And I have 2 discount codes that you can use in my e-store. If you go to the regular Amazon channels, you won't be able to use these codes. They won't work. You have to go to my e-store to get these discounts. If you can pay full price, though, please pay full price. But if not, please use one of these discount codes. Of course, the $20 off is the higher one. And if you want $20 off, it's SQCLP9SB. These are both S's. And if you want $10 off, it's V98BLGBS. All these are S's. They're not 5s. Okay. So this is the board game. And this is the 64 squares, but there's a black pouch here. You can't quite see it very well, but over here on the white one, the camera shows it much better. It's shown like a picture of a handle with a pouch, and there's 16 holes, a 4x4 grid of holes, and these are for the shields. And you can see these little holes punched in the board on the square. These 4 shields are for black, and these 4 shields are for white. Right now, this board is oriented for white. If I turn it around, then this would be oriented for black if I was the player of the black pieces. Yeah, you can see it now. There's the handle. It's kind of faint, but the camera doesn't show it up too well. I see it plainly looking at it, but the camera doesn't pick it up too good. But I guess we'll have it oriented for white. I'll just make videos of this until I can get all the rules out. So this will be a multi-part series. Alright. This is a plastic tub holding all the pieces that I had made, and I have some pieces out here out on the table. This is a bowl of nails, and so I can use it to put the shots fired and the shields set. We'll get to all that. And so, get that open. Alright. So, this game is called Tines and Barbs. So, I have various... I'll put a few barbs out here first. So, where's my white grand barb? There it is. Okay, so this is the white grand barb. It's a barb. This is the black grand barb. It's a barb. Observe, it's like a chess king. All these barbs have line segments for their indicators. A barb can go one space in the direction of its indicators. This is a blue banded thorn. It's like a pawn, so this would be like a black pawn. So this barb right now can go to here or to here. Its indicators are pointing there and there. This barb, if it was like this is a blue banded white thorn. It could go here and here. You can rotate these things. Well, I guess there's a couple things I need to explain. So these barbs, they have line segments for their indicators. This part here is called the turn scale. Let me get this right down here. So there's 12 operations you can do in the board game of Tines and Barbs. You can rotate, wound, shield, break, and neutralize. Each of these costs 1 point each. On your turn you get up to 5 points, and then your turn ends. But white only gets 3 points on his first turn. That equalizes the game. I give white just a partial first step. All turns after that are 5 points each. So that's how I balance the game right from the get-go. Heal, capture, and promote. That's a little P there. I wrote it in afterwards. So these are all 2 point operations. And then move and disarm. Those are 3 point operations. And thrust and kill. Those are 5 point operations. So a thrust and a kill take your whole turn just to do those. Alright, the turn scale is what makes this game go. And so it costs 3 points to move. So if this thorn were to move, it would cost 3 points to do that. This is a blue banded thorn. The blue bands means that they only can rotate counterclockwise only. So this can only rotate this way. So a rotation is a 45-degree increment. And so if I rotate 45 degrees, that's 1 point. If I rotate them 45 degrees more, that's a second point. So right now, this thorn will be pointing here and here. So like if this was white's other thorn in a game, let's say he was like this, and this thorn was threatened. Well, for 1 point, this thorn could rotate this way, protecting this thorn. And then another move could be made for 3 points, totaling 4, and then maybe wounding. Okay, so these are barb pieces, and barbs can only go one space in the direction of their indicators. This orange band means that it rotates clockwise only. So this one can only rotate this way. This is an orange banded thorn. It can only rotate clockwise. The grand barb, it doesn't have a band, so it can rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. And on a turn, if you don't want to do anything, you can rotate them and rotate them back, and then your turn is done, and then that avoids zugzwang and stalemate. Stalemate is caused by two rules clashing in chess, that you have to move the king, or no, that you have to move, but that you cannot endanger the king. So those two rules cannot coincide sometimes, and that's when a stalemate occurs. So stalemate is not possible in my game because you can just rotate the king and rotate him back, the grand barb, and then you punch your clock, and then the turn switches to the other side. So these are barb pieces. Next, I'll show tine pieces. So like, get some black ones up here. So here's some tines. Notice all these tines, they have arrows, so they can go the full length of the board. This is a lance right here, and it only has one stripe. There's two stripe pieces. This one's a common, and this one is a strange. So like this strange right now can go vertically, or this white diagonal line. If you move the strange up one, then it's vertically, and this black diagonal line. The common, if right now it's in the orientation of a rook, but if you rotate it 45 degrees, it becomes like a bishop, because now it accesses the diagonals. And so one nice thing I like to do with the common is rotate him, and then he can move like a queen off to the diagonal, and then rotate him up. So this guy is pretty good for giving the slip sometimes. That's a 5-point turn, because you rotate for a point, move for 3 more, and then rotate it back. So 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 5. So it takes 5 points to do that. So this is a strange, this is a common, this is a mighty. It's almost as strong as a queen. So it's missing 1 stripe. It's like the photographic negative of the lance. Where this only has 1 stripe, this is missing 1 stripe. And so that's the mighty. And so these are all the tines, and they go the full length of the board. All right. In order to capture, like say you do want to capture. So if this piece was here, and this piece was here, just taking into account these 2 pieces, if you were to move, you can only move up to here. If you want to capture, you have to actually occupy the square of the piece that you want to capture, and it costs 2 points to capture, and you would land on the piece, and you don't change the orientation at all, because that would be a rotate. So you have to keep the same orientation, and then you eject the piece from the game. That's how captures are done. And so if this mighty was oriented like this, and this piece was here, then you'd have to rotate first. And so you'd only be able to move this far, because the actual capture would cost 2 more points, and that would make 6 points. 1 for the rotate, 3 for the move, and 2 for the capture. That's 6 points. That's too much. So you have to already be oriented on the piece that you want to capture to make the capture possible. So the orientation of your pieces is very important during a game. All right. So one new feature in this game is that you can fire shots at pieces. So this lance is the only one that has a gun. I put a nail here from my bowl of nails. The lance, it doesn't have a spot for a bullet on this side, a gun, but it does have a spot for a gun on this side. And so we, let me just give a second here. Don't try adjusting your set. I'm going to set the camera down for a second. So I can put this nail in the side. Alright, so I put the nail in the side. So now this lance has a gun. And so let's point him here at this strange. So if you want to fire a shot, you have to have the gun arm pointing at the piece. And then you can place a bullet. You can't quite see it there. I put the bullet in. Each of these pieces I have a hole drilled into every indicator so that you can put a bullet in. And so this is called wounding the piece. Yeah, you can't really tell. I have to show you. I guess the resolution might be a little bit off. And so you can fire a shot at the piece, and now this piece is wounded. It's like the indicator isn't there. So right now this strange can only access this diagonal and the backwards vertical, but not this direction. And so it costs 1 point to fire a shot. So if this lance was already lined up on it, he could fire 4 shots at this strange and fill up the strange. When a piece is full of bullets, it's called crippled. And when it's crippled, it can't do anything. And so And so it would cost 4 points to do that. And then he might rotate or something. Or you could rotate a different piece. You don't have to spend the points on one piece. You can spend them on different pieces. And so, so that would prevent this Strange from attacking back on this lance, because the lance fired a shot at that piece. And so now this lance is still able to capture this Strange on the next turn, because it's oriented on it, but the Strange could not capture this lance back. So you can stop a check by firing a shot at the piece checking the king. So let's say that the Strange was oriented like this, and this diagonal stripe is checking the grand barb. A shot could be fired at this indicator, stopping the check of this king. That is one way to stop a check in this game. Alright, and according to the turn scale here, it costs 2 points to heal. So if this Strange wanted to move backwards one spot, because I have the bullet now here, you could heal the Strange and then move. That's 2 points plus 3 points, which is 5 points. So healing is pretty easy. Just wherever someone put a bullet in one of your pieces, you just heal it. Alright, so we've taken care of rotate and wound, heal, capture. Alright, promote. If you get one of your Thorns down to the 8th rank, you can promote it. It costs 2 points to promote. And so, like if you want, like you could, if it was here, you could move and promote. But your, I don't remember if you had to be healthy to promote or not. I think you did. So if you have, I have to look at my rules for that. I don't remember if you have to be healthy or not. Yeah, that's something I gotta look up. I don't remember. Seems like you would have to be healthy. Or at least just maybe have one healthy indicator. Because then if you were wounded, then would you have wounds in the promoted piece? I don't know. That gets into some dicey water, so I had to look up how I had that situated. Alright. Maybe I have to do that another time, because I don't have my rules in front of me. But it's in the book. This book that I wrote. Yeah, it flipped on me. Alright. So, but it costs 2 points to promote. That much I can assure you. Alright, at the beginning, let's talk about shielding now. So this pouch I showed you at the first stage, you have 16 shields in it at the start of the game. So I'll just put a couple in here. So it would take a person a couple minutes to load this up to start with and put the two shields, or the two guns on the lances, you know. So I got 6 in there right now. And so this grand barb, at the beginning of the game, he'll have 2 weapons. And they would go here and here. These show up okay on the camera. And so this one is the pouch and this one is the wand. When the king has the pouch, that shows that this is able to be accessed. And so if the king wants to set a shield, you take one of the shields out of the pouch and you set it on your square. So like right now, this square is shielded. And so if this lance was pointing at the the Grand Barb, it would be in check. But once the shield is set, the lance can only move up to here. It couldn't go onto this square or past it. So shielding a square is a way to stop a check. But the lance also has a gun. And so the lance, one of the lance's abilities is that it can break a shield at a distance. I'm putting a gun in this black lance. See, got a gun in there now. The lance can break a shield at a distance. So for 1 point, it would break. Oh, that was it. No, it's still going. Keeps flipping on me. So for 1 point, it can break the shield, and for a second point, you can wound the Grand Barb. And so you could put a, well, let me do this like this. So now I've wounded this Grand Barbie. And so, so there's an interplay between the breaking of the shields and the gun. Other pieces, if they want to break the shield, they have to, let's say we have one here. You have to satisfy what I call the standard manual conditions. You have to have a healthy indicator, 1 unit distance or in the square of the shield. And so it's like punching it. So you have to be next to it to punch it. So you have to have a healthy indicator next to the shield. Then you can break the shield for 1 point. If this was 2 units away, like this, it's not close enough. The standard manual conditions are not satisfied. Or if this indicator was wounded, then the standard manual conditions are not satisfied. So the standard manual conditions have to be satisfied to break it manually, but the gun can break it at a distance. And so at the beginning of the game, you get 16 shields. So use some care in how you set your shield. You don't just want to just dispense them all right away, because then your opponent knows where they are and can set forth to breaking them or whatever. Use them when you need them. And the wand is the other weapon. It can neutralize shields. Sometimes you may not have enough turn points to break the opposing shields. Like if he had 4 of them here and you wanted to move here, obviously not with this there. If you wanted to move here, and obviously not with, so let's say your opponent had 2, maybe even 3. Let's say your opponent had 3 shields on here, and you really, really needed to get into this square. You can neutralize this shield for 1 point, and it neutralizes the whole complex for 1 point. And so then you could move into here for 1 point, so that would be 4 points, well, plus the original neutralize. Neutralize, remember, it takes 1 point. And so if you neutralized, then so for 5 points you could get into this square, and you still have your own 1 point of protection. And that's also how you create a conflicted square. So right now this square is conflicted. The Grand Barb, well, this could have been shielded ahead of time, but in order to set this shield later, you'd have to neutralize. When you neutralize, it's like these shields aren't there. And so, and the wand is the only weapon that can do this. So the Grand Barb is the only one that can create a conflicted square. So you could shield for 1 point. So neutralize for 1 point, that neutralizes these. Then you could shield for 1 point and then move while it's still neutralized. And then the neutralization only lasts for that turn. So now these are active again for the next turn. But you can break them, but it would cost 3 points to break these, and you wouldn't be able to move, because then you only have 2 points left. So that's neutralize and break and shield. So I've done heal, capture, promote. Well, the only issue with promote is I don't know if you have to be healthy or not. I think you do. Disarm. So you've seen the weapons now. If this, there's like a standard manual conditions for disarm. a piece can take a weapon off of a opposing piece. So like if this Thorn wanted to disarm this lance of its weapon of the gun, you just pull out the gun. And it costs 3 points to do that. You don't get to put the gun on yourself, it just goes away. It's like a capture. You know, you don't get to keep a captured piece. You don't get to keep a disarmed weapon. You just throw it in the bowl. And so it costs 3 points to do that. So this piece wouldn't be able to move after the disarm. But now this is a weaponless lance. And similarly, let's say this was like this. So let's say this turn started out like this. He could rotate, break the shield. So that's 2 points. Rotation and break the shield. And then he could disarm the pouch. So if this guy had 15 shields left in the pouch, that was a very powerful thing to do to this Grand Barb, because now he can't set any more shields. So now this is a check, and this guy's got to run now. So on his next turn, he'd have to break these 3. Well, that would be a checkmate, wouldn't it? Because now he can't. No, he could still neutralize. All right, because he only took one of the weapons. So now he would neutralize these shield complexes for 1 point because he still has the wand, then rotate, and then move. And that would be 5 points. So he could get out of the check that way. But if he didn't have his wand either, then he's done, because he can't break all 3 of these shields and move. So the wand can save the day sometimes. All right. Is that all of them? Oh, thrust. So from the initial position, if a Thorn is pointing forward and he has a healthy indicator pointing forward, for 6 or 5 points he can thrust. It would take 2 independent turns, a 3-point turn and a 3-point turn, to get him here. But for 1 turn, a 5-point turn, thrust is gets him to move just like a chess pawn to start with. All right, and then kill. If a lance has a gun, so I put the gun back in this lance, and let's say this Thorn was here, and he had two shots in him. So if a piece is full of I can't use the camera to do these things. I have to use my own eyeballs. All right, so I have 2 shots in this Thorn, and I have the gun pointing at him. So in order to do a kill, you have to have the gun pointing at a crippled piece. And then the kill works by you remove the gun, because it's like firing a shot so powerful it destroys the gun, and you remove the crippled piece from the game. That's how a kill works. So it costs your whole point to do a kill, and you lose the gun for it. But you still got your piece here. The gun was an enhancement, but the piece is actually gone. And so you don't have to expose your piece to recapture. So that's what kill is. So that's thrust and kill, disarm, move, promote, capture, heal, neutralize, break, shield, wound, rotate. All right, well, the only issue is the promote. So I'll have to, on my next video, because I'm on almost at a half hour here, I'll show the setup of the pieces and show some basic things about the game. But that's essentially the rules. So I feel pretty good about this video, and it's still going. It's at 29 minutes and 26 seconds. So anyway, please go to my e-store right here at https://www.createspace.com/3552422. And if you need one of these discount codes, please go ahead and do that. Thank you, and have a great day.